Hi everyone, hi Luis. Nice to see you. Nice to see all of you. Some known faces here. We are here for the Entrepreneur CTO, which is the event we are hosting today. We are going to start with my presentation, and I would like to share some facts about me so you can understand why I am telling you and teaching you about entrepreneurship, right? Being a techie guy. So the first thing is that I have been CTO for the last 8 years, but the thing is that one of my first professional jobs was to build my own business. At the age of 15, I was an eBay reseller, so I was kind of wallapoping with the things that I was not using, or the stuff for the computer that was not compatible with my own setup. And I was also recording video games for my friends. This cannot be shared out of this room. Then later on in the university, I found my first company. Taking advantage of my SEO for private tutoring, I created an agency to match students with tutors, because at the end my hours were full. Starting of October, were full for the whole course, and my idea was like, if the people keeps calling me and there are others that are not able to receive those calls, why not I put them in contact and I earn a commission, and I do an extra service for the fathers, for the parents, and also for the students, to guide them in choosing the career or choosing the degree, right? And evaluating and measuring with real data how they were performing over time. So I was adding that service, I was earning a commission, and I was using my own positioning in the different tutoring marketplaces to get more customers for my teachers, right? Then 10 years ago, in 2011, I joined people I didn't know. Actually, I knew them in an event, and we created a Start Camp, which was, and it still is, an event similar to a Startup Weekend. I don't know if you know about a Startup Weekend. It's an event where students from university created startups in a weekend. So Wayra hosted the event and was really happy to have us during the weekend into their offices. And some of the crazy guys that spent a whole weekend paying for it, and even traveling more than 500 kilometers from the south of Spain to come to Madrid, those guys now are Forbes 30 under 30. They work or have worked for the best tech companies in the world, like Facebook, Instagram, or Google, and have sold their companies, or now they are worth millions. Those guys that I was teaching them 10 years ago, they grew so fast that I am investing in them right now, and they are the ones that have, I don't know how to say it, but they are now better than the mentors themselves, right? They are now the mentors. So this has been more or less what I have been doing as an entrepreneur. Since then, that event 10 years ago, I really fell in love with startups, and then I started creating startups myself. And while I work as CTO for those startups, that was my role in them, I have engaged in the many roles related to the startup ecosystem. So I have been investing in the companies of those crazy guys. Actually, I am very, very close to do my second exit. I will disclose it really soon, but I have been investing in them. I have been advising other entrepreneurs in the early stages. I have been mentoring as well, aspiring leaders. And that experience brought me here. Right? After several years working in different roles in my spare time, and at the same time being co-founder and CTO in different startups, better and better over time. They were not a huge success, but it allowed me to jump into scale-ups like WeFox recently, or right now being consulting CTO in Revolut. And I'm not a co-founder anymore. I'm not the CTO co-founder anymore, but I have earned my own reputation as a great CTO, and they kept calling me, not only as a CTO, but also as investor, as advisor, as mentor in different programs. And that's why working in that over time pays off, but you need to keep consistent with that, right? So Right now, I'm building Leader. You are here because of Leader. And I'm here because I finally followed my heart last summer. I found my Ikigai and I realized that my way to leave a bigger footprint in this world was not leading my own teams as a CTO, but helping other top tech professionals like you guys leading their teams better. Because instead of impacting in the lives of 30 people and maybe the 1 or 2 millions of users of my own product, I could impact in 100, 200 leaders that are leading a team of 10, so it's 2,000 people changing their mindset, working better, and then the collective user base of those products is much more than 1 or 2 millions. So that's why we are here today. This is what I started creating almost 1 year ago when the pandemic started, with this great woman that is here today with me co-hosting the event, which is Lilith. And that's everything I wanted to tell you about me. At the end, I thought that this is what the world needs now. That's why I want to teach you how to develop what has been for me the #1 skill that I have used to build my own brand and be where I'm today, which is business vision. So we are going to go with that, which is business vision. But first of all, I would love to say that at the end of the session, I will disclose those 800 plus euros in rewards that we have. So you will need to wait until the end of the event. And we are going to choose the winner of the event among the different teams that we will compose later. And we will communicate it tomorrow through email and our Slack community. Okay? We will need to check what you have been doing in Jamboard, and after all, we will decide which is the winner, and you will know what you can win or not at the end of the session. So let's start with the #1 skill, that is business vision. For me, if there is one single skill that will make you stand out, is this one, and I would name it like entrepreneurship, if we accept entrepreneurship as a skill, right? But I choose it because it's kind of a Swiss knife like skill. It's a skill that includes a set of other skills that are highly desirable in anyone leading teams. That was actually my unique selling proposal when I was opting for a new job, and it was what made me stand out. Why? Because I was able to talk with the CEOs, to talk about the business, and at the same time I was able to talk with computers. So that is this kind of unicorn, this kind of sweet spot where everyone wants to be, and every single CEO is looking for their partners, right? For the partner to build a company, for the partner to grow, to find this CTO that is going to share the journey for many years with them, and they are going to be sharing successes and failures. It's important for them to be really sure that they can speak with each other, and they can communicate, and they can understand each other better. And that's why, for me, was the #1 skill. This entrepreneurial mindset, for me, and all the skills that compose this entrepreneurial mindset, I have collected some of them because I think as a skill set, it's composed of many things. But for me, why the entrepreneurial mindset makes you stand out, it's because you live what you are doing. You really live what you are doing, and you really love what you are doing. You are doing it with passion. Entrepreneurs are pursuing their dreams. They do what they love, and they love what they do. Otherwise, they wouldn't sacrifice so much, and they wouldn't fight so hard in order to make this product or service succeed in the market in the long run. Right? If they want to be there for the money, they'd better go to a company, consultancy, McKinsey, the Big Four, and then earning the money to buy a better car, to buy a better house. But if they are in entrepreneurship, it's because they have passion of what they do. They want to solve a problem in the market. They want to solve a problem for real people. And they have the whole ownership. Is their money, is their risk, is their time. They are not earning money from another job, so they need to succeed. They really need to succeed. If you have the entrepreneurial mindset and you are able to do what it takes to succeed, from learning to asking to doing whatever it takes, that's really important. That really matters for the company, and especially for the CEO that is going to hire you or is going to partner with you to build the company from scratch, right? They are self-motivated, they are autonomous, they are proactive, they can motivate it from home, they are self-driven, they go out and look for what they need to continue. They are not waiting for the answers to come to them. They go out and fight and look for them. In order to find those solutions in the market, in the outside, in the internet, asking others, they are creative. They are curious. They have that curiosity to understand how the world works, to be creative in the solution, so they are not building yet another social network, and they do something different to solve the pains of their customers. They are problem solvers. They solve the problems for those customers, and they have this customer orientation. They really have this empathy to put in the shoes of the customer, to understand their pains and to do what it takes to build a solution for them. That's it. They are just trying to improve the world with a solution in the market, and at the same time being profitable and being successful. But don't forget that they are there for the customers. They need to build something that is solving a real need in the market, and a need that the customers are willing to pay in order to be solved, right? And they are great communicators. They repeat and repeat and repeat the pitch over time, no matter how much times, until they get what they want. No matter if it's the customer getting into the landing page, the investor putting some money and betting some money on the company and the entrepreneur, but they need to communicate, and they need to communicate as well with the whole team. And at that point, they are team players. They understand that they are not going to succeed going solo. They need a team to build something that lasts, to build something bigger, to build something better, because they are not experts in everything, and they will be surrounded by the best. They understand that they need the team, and they need that team motivated, so they come with this optimistic mindset, this optimistic energy, this positive energy to the team, so the people keeps motivated, keeps showing up, right? And when the things are not going right, and you still need to be optimistic, you are resilient. You learn from the failures, you keep pushing, and no matter if you like it or not, you understand that everything you are doing is done for a bigger cause. Is something that will happen in the long run. So if today you need to do something that you don't like, doesn't matter. You do it because you understand that this is part of the process to build something memorable and to make history. That's it. That's why, and these are some of the skills that I think that are part of every single entrepreneur out there. You can discuss in the chat if you think that there is something really critical that is missing, or if you don't agree that some of them are part of any single entrepreneur out there. But this is how I have seen entrepreneurs over time in all the different startup programs and accelerators that I have been part of. And I have met, I would say, at least 200 or 300 entrepreneurs in my professional life. And I can say that all of those skills were there. If you are able to be like them, they are going to be recognizing yourself, and you are going to be building that skills that matters for them and that matters for a company to be successful. So that's for me really, really important. But the final thing is that they are seeking for continuous improvement. They don't stop when something is good. They keep pushing so it is great. And when it's great, they keep pushing so it is better, it is perfect. They are seeking for perfection every single day. They are not going to be conformist. They are not going to say, okay, yeah, we have achieved the goals of the year, that's it, let's go on holidays for the next 6 months. That's not going to happen in a startup. They are going to keep improving what can be improved. And this mindset makes them better every single day. If they need to learn, they are going to learn. If they need to prioritize better, they are going to prioritize better. If they need to save some cost, they will save some cost. So it's not only about selling more, it's also about spending less in order to succeed. And they are going to do it. No matter what it takes, they are going to do it and they are going to feel better every single day. That's the main skill for me. And in order to do that in the business space, they work with a methodology that is lean startup, that is an iterative way of building products cheap and fast and delivering the most value in the market in the less amount of time. Do you know about lean startup? We are going to send a poll. Let me know if you know about lean startup or not, so I understand how knowledgeable you are about this topic. Can you see it? Can you participate? Okay, you can participate. Yeah, the question for Lean Canvas was for later, but if you answer right now, even better. I will be informed. Okay, I see some what the fuck about Lean Startup, so I will explain briefly about the concept. But generally speaking, I see that most of you have already practiced or have heard or read about this Lean Startup philosophy. So basically, this Lean Startup cycle means that the thing that matters at the beginning is to learn. What you want to do is to learn as fast as possible, to close the loop where you have found a solution for the problem you are seeking to solve. Once you see that that solution is likable by your customers, then you have ended the first loop and you go for the next one, which is finding the product market fit and then scaling. Okay? So how this works is that when you have the idea, you start building something really quick. You are building prototypes that are not a high fidelity version of the final product that you have in mind or you think that is what your customers deserve. On the contrary, you just put something in the market that is representing what you want to achieve, so you can validate quick if the customer is accepting it or not, if it's solving the pains they have or not. Okay? Then you measure with that product that is a prototype, you measure how it behaves, how it performs, how the people actually use it, and then you learn what you need to improve, what you need to discard, what you need to change. And you start over again. You come with more ideas that you want to validate, you try to build them as fast as possible, you put them in the market, your early adopters are using it, you are measuring how they are using it, you are doing some surveys, you are asking them for feedback, you are measuring how the product is used with tools like Mixpanel or Google Analytics, you are making decisions based on that data, learning, and over again. It's all the time the same. But following that process, instead of thinking that you know which is the solution your customers want, taking months to build it, and then pushing it in the market, this is not the way it works. So you cannot get in love with the solution. You need to get in love and fall in love with the problem. How the problem will be solved doesn't matter and probably will not be the way you are thinking about. And this is true for an app, this is true for a service, and this is true for leader. What we thought at the beginning 1 year ago that was going to be the way we were going to solve the gap in the market for tech leaders was a crazy idea, and at the end the market has shown us that this is not what the market needs. The market needs more great tech leaders. People are willing to take the step up and become a great tech leader, but our assumptions that they were willing to join a long course were not valid, were not true, basically. So it's better to go with micro-learning. Then we adapted and we started to get some traction. And that's why the first Ignite alumni are here today. If we kept pushing our own crazy idea without asking the market first, then nothing would have happened, just bankruptcy. Okay? So this is what I wanted to tell you. And now let's create something real. Let's start with the exercise. Let's start with the practice. First of all, I need to tell you that the format we are going to practice today, it's a shorter version of what we have been teaching in StarCamp for 10 years now. It's shorter because we don't have a whole weekend. Unless you want to keep here tomorrow as well, we are not going to have the whole weekend, which is around, they had around 20 to 30 hours to work on the problem solution fit. They were able to fit together, to make the team, to come with their own idea, vote the ideas, and then engage around the ideas to build the teams in an organic way. We don't have that time today, so we are going to avoid some of the steps. We are going to present some of the tools that we are using, we are going to use. You need to, I don't know, do this leap faith, to just believe that this is going to work. We will work with the different tools, and you will get more or less what can be a valid solution to go out to the market and then prototype it and really build something. We are going to do the step before, but instead of discussing the ideas, we are going to be based on the idea that we are now creating in Ignite, so we get the context much easier. So let me tell you that the idea that we are building here in Ignite, it's a note-taking app. So if any of the Ignite participants want to describe briefly which are the pain points that we identified, it's up to you guys.
Well, I will try to do it. The main points that we identified that we wanted to solve for our note-taking app were having an app that is easy to use and having something that organizes the notes as autonomously as possible, because otherwise it's very easy to have note-taking apps in which you get lost within your own notes and you cannot find the notes that you cared about. And we have been thinking also on making it as useful as possible for productivity, for integrating it with different tools that probably any of you is using in any IT company, like Trello or Slack or things like that. So okay. I don't know if I forgot something, but
no, it's great because you have omitted the keywords that I didn't want you to say, so we kept aligned. So we are building this note-taking app. You only know that we are trying to solve a problem with note-taking, but you still don't know for whom we are creating this note-taking app. And Jordi has told you where we are focusing our efforts, which key solutions we are putting in the market, but this is because our buyer persona, the customer that we choose to solve a problem for them, is demanding that. But we are going to start a step before. So in Teams, you are going to define your own buyer persona, the person that for you needs to have a better solution for note-taking. Okay? So we are going to start with a tool that is called buyer persona. You can tell me in the chat if you know this tool or not, and if you have been using it before or not. This tool, it's kind of an avatar of the customer segment you are trying to solve a problem for. So the first thing to solve a problem for someone is to really know that person, to really know how they live their lives, how they behave, what they value the most, where they spend the time, where they spend the money, how are their lives, who is in their environment. They have kids, they have a lot of friends, they are introvert, they go out a lot with their teammates from work or not. You need to know all this information. Okay, so here you have an example, and this is part of the information that you need to fill for a buyer persona. So you need to have kind of a radiography of the person from the bio, the picture, the where are they based, which is their current role, what they like to do in their free time, which are their life goals, which frustrations they have related to this problem that you are trying to solve, in this case taking notes. How is their personality, where they are engaging with others like-minded souls. They are using social media, they are using private messaging apps like WhatsApp, they are in Slack, they are in Discord, they are watching a lot of YouTube videos. You need to understand how they behave so you understand how to reach them. You can compose messages in your website to attract them because they understand that the message is crafted exactly for them. That's why you need to really know them. And this is where everything starts in order to build the business vision. It's understanding your customer. Okay? So in order to do this exercise, we are going to go for breakout rooms. I'm going to show you how we are going to be working on that. Okay? Yeah, this is the tool, this is Jamboard. You have here for the first 8 teams and then for the remaining 8. This is because Jamboard doesn't allow more than 50 people. So what you need to do, you are going to be in a room number, room 1, room 2, room 3, room 8, whatever. If your number is from 1 to 8, you need to go for the first link that we are going to share now. If you are in a room 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, you need to go to the other and then count, because if you go there, you are going to find a lot of different layouts for you to work. Everything is the same, but if you are the team 9, you need to be in the number 1 of the second board. Okay, so number 1 for the team 9, number 2 for the team 10, and so on. Okay, this is how it's going to work. So now Lilith has shared with you the 2 links. Let me know if you can access. You can open both and then go for the one that is going to be yours, depending on the room. But first, please confirm through the chat that you can access, and if you go there, you can I don't know, edit. You can click on the left side and try to create a post-it. Okay, so just let me know if you can do that. I can see some of you already accessing, so it seems that it's not going to be a problem at all. Okay, Jonathan test, perfect. Okay, you can go there. So now we are going to split the whole session in different rooms. I am going to try to put our Ignite alumni in the different rooms so they can go and facilitate your work if you need assistance. Okay. The other thing we have here, it's a guide for the different topics that we are going to touch. So first buyer persona, then link canvas, then customer journey. So here you have the document. Let me share it with you. Luis, you will see the team number as soon as you enter into the room. This will happen right now. I just wanted to make sure that I was sharing with you, everyone, this document that is a tutorial, so you have this help as well as the Ignite students to help you. I'm going to go through the different rooms as well, so you will have plenty of support. But just in case, now you have all the documents at hand. Now I'm going to try to create the rooms. So the instructions for this first exercise, for this buyer persona, is identifying a segment of people that normally uses a note-taking app, and understanding and filling all the information, defining one person from this segment, so kind of the archetype of person of that segment, and putting all the information together, defining that person all together. It can you can get this information from a friend that you identify clearly as part of that segment. You can try to guess how they behave or which are the channels for them, but you need to fill the 12 different the 12 different gaps. Okay, persona, which is where you are going to put the information about this person, a short bio like in Twitter, the name, the age, the city, the education, the current job. Then the personality, if there's introvert, is social, it's optimistic, it's not optimistic. Then lifestyle and hobbies and interests, what they do in their spare time, which are their motivations and dreams, their life goals, why they are where they are, why they do what they do, and defining how is one day in his or her life. How is the first time in the morning? They have a pet, so they go out with to walk with the dog at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. They have a couple, they eat together, they are working from home, they are going to the office, they are spending the time in the afternoon with kids, or learning, or enjoying, or cooking because they love cooking, how they are doing every single thing every single day, right? And then we have the reasons to use our product and the reasons to buy our product, which is not the same. Okay, then which are the information sources they consume every single day, from social networks to blog posts, magazines, TV channels, YouTube channels, Netflix movies, what they are using, right, in order to get informed about what matters for them. How is the purchase process for them? If they buy online, they buy offline, they are used to it, they buy a lot in Amazon, not. Okay, the influencers, the people they admire, what they can be the references for him or her. And finally, which objections they can have in order not to switch to our product. So if you can put 2, 3, 4 post-its in every single block, it will be more than enough. We are going to have 10 minutes, group of 4 people, to fill something here. After that part, we will come back to the session and we will show what we are defining in Ignite. So you have another reference that is more complete because we have more time. Luis, we are building this based on data and intuition. If the person you identify, for example, scientists, you don't know anyone that is a scientist around, but you can relate to a friend, or at least part of the work, maybe you can refer to a person that is now involved in R&D in the university, then you can try to relate how this person behaves, in which channels you communicate with him or her, right? So it's a bit of data, because maybe the profile is someone from the group, right? Or you know someone that is from that kind of segment, and at some point maybe you need to use your intuition, and you can guess, you can do some guesstimates. And this is the step that we are not going to do today, which is real customer service and customer interviews, meeting the people in person, doing an online call to understand how they live their lives, right? So data and intuition on the same way. Okay, let's go for that. Give me 1 minute to try to do the breakout rooms. So let's go. Okay, so thank you so much. I think all of you are already here. Yes, okay. So we have now 8 different personas here. We have a foodie, we have a journalist, we have a product manager, we have designers, we have a lot of different profiles. What I have seen so far is that most of the teams have finished and have completed it on time, which is great, because at the end it was not a lot of time, but you have gone and focused on one single person and start defining all the things. Maybe some of them can change later, and when you go for the customer service, you change the post-its and you see that your assumptions were not real. That's why this work it's a loop, right? It's here to be modified. It's not going to be the final word, but I hope that you understood how it's working. I think lifestyle was not really clear. I have seen in the different teams, so it's a bit of the tribe you belong to, and how you live your day, right? What you expose to the world, which is the brand you are reflecting in social networks, for example. Okay, but overall, I have seen a lot of information here, and then we can move. If you don't have any more questions, if you have questions, please type it in the chat. So we will collect everything for the end of the session, and we are going to move now for the next tool. So let's continue. We have now the buyer persona identified, and now we are moving to Lean Canvas. Lean Canvas, it's a one-page business plan. It's the business plan of the real entrepreneurs. It's the business plan of the people that understand that it's a waste of time and resources and precious resources at the beginning to employ a lot of time to define every single aspect of the business millimetrically when you still don't know if your product is going to be accepted in the market because it's solving a real problem. So Lean Canvas is a much faster way to identify. You can actually do it in 20 minutes. We are going to have 30. So in 20 minutes, you are able to identify the most important things of the business that matters for you right now when you are starting. Okay? How is that and how is done? Well, the first thing is that the Lean Canvas was created by Alvaro Moya, and is based on the business model canvas, and maybe some of you knows about this business model canvas, but it's slightly changed. So instead of having here, for example, in the right, the key partners, you have the problem, because you are still in the problem solution fit. Okay, so we have different buckets where we need to put the ideas that are hypotheses that you will need to validate. So this will change over time, again, as the buyer persona. So the numbers represents an accepted order. It's an order that you can use in order to fill this. Let me move out of the screen. So it's the recommended way to fill out the different buckets. So you start with the customer segments because you have identified your buyer persona. So from that buyer persona, you can also find the early adopters. So those that are going to jump into the product because they want to be the first. They are the ones that really have a painful problem and they want to solve it now. Okay, these are the ones that are going to be your first users, your first customers. You need to focus on them. Okay, then for the problem, the best way to tackle it is just listing the top 3 problems, not having a whole list, just defining the 3 main problems that your customer has related to not to the product, but related to the area that you are going to tackle. In this case, taking notes, right? Then you can go either with the solution or with the revenue streams, but in case you go with the revenue streams, is listing the sources of revenue. So how are you going to make money? It's a subscription. It's based on in-app purchases. It's through ads. So you are running something with ads, and the user is the product. You have just one payment per year. You have just one payment and it's licensed for the whole life. How are you making money? Do you have more than one source of revenues? You have subscription, but you also have kind of training or consultancy services. How are you going to make money? The next one is the solution, and the same as the problem. Just list the top 3 features that are going to tackle the top 3 problems. Just focus on that. If your product has those 3 features that are tackling the main 3 problems of the customer, you have something valuable for sure, right? So focus only on that. Okay, finding this solution is the golden egg. Is not going to be able to, normally will not happen in the first attempt, but over time you will know more your customer, you will know more about how they are dealing with the problem now and how painful it is for them, and then you will be able to tailor the solution more and more. Okay, so don't worry about that. Then UVP, unique value proposition, is the message that is really clear, is this kind of one sentence that you would say and you would tell to an investor in the elevator in order to grab the attention. So they want to keep knowing about it. Is this kind of sentence that you are going to put in the landing page in the top of the page. Okay? And then the high level concept is another idea that is also useful to communicate your product, that is doing the analogy of making it similar to another product that is well known in the market. So for example, YouTube was the Flickr for videos. I don't know, Leader is the Netflix of leadership training, whatever it is, but this is going to make it much easier for your customers and your stakeholders to understand what you do with just 3 words. The product in the market you resemble to, 4, and the market you are tackling. Okay? Then the channels, how you are approaching your customers, where they are, where they meet, how is the path to achieve the attention, to drive the interest of them. Are you going to use ads in Instagram, in YouTube, in LinkedIn? Are you going to engage with them in Product Hunt? Are you going to engage with them in Reddit, in Slack communities related to entrepreneurship? Are you going to be attending live events? Are you going to publish yourself in, I don't know, printed magazines? Where they are. And that's why the information sources they consume, how they spend their free time, which social networks they use, this matters here. Because you are able to understand how you can reach them, how you can be in touch with them, in which channels, right? Then finally, key metrics. Focus on just 2 things that you are going to measure. And in this case, the first thing for the startups is retention. You need to have something that the people keeps using. It's not about acquisition, it's about retention. You need to have something that the people keeps coming back. So in order to measure that retention, how you are going to measure that for your app? It's about the notes they are writing. It's about the number of times they are coming back over time in the period of a month. It's about the number of users that are coming back over time. How are you going to measure that? That can be one of the metrics. Then focus on 1 or 2, so the other can be that key metric that you want to reach. How are you going to validate that the problem solution fit is a success? It's about the number of users you want to have in 1 year, in 6 months. It's about the score they give you in the App Store. How you are going to measure that success? So if you have those 2 metrics, it should be enough for the first moments of the company. Then the cost structure for software apps, it's normally related to the team spending and the cost of the infrastructure, the cost of hosting the product. Normally, those are the biggest buckets of spending. And finally, the unfair advantage. This is the most difficult block to answer, but think about something that you have that no one else has. Okay? The definition, and it's in the instructions that I have shared with you, is the only real competitive advantage is that which cannot be copied and cannot be bought. Most of the times, it's about IP, or it's about how you work in the team, because at the end the company is about people working together, and at the end the culture of the company is something that is much more difficult to be replicated than, for example, a certain feature in the product. So which is your unfair advantage? Do you have access to capital because you know a lot of investors? Do you have access to a person that can distribute your product in a lot of channels? Do you have certain training to know how to make yourself to the top of the list in Product Hunt? Anything that you have as a team, as individual, or your product is what you need to put in the unfair advantage, and it's very difficult. So if it's not filled now, don't worry about it. Okay? So this is what I wanted to explain about the Lean Canvas. I'm only going to show one example. So we have an example here before you start working on it. Okay? So I'm going to show a well-known concept, a well-known product. We are going to go not with the Facebook, not with Airbnb, and not with Amazon. We are going to go with YouTube. Okay, so if we go with YouTube and we start for the customer segment is mass market users, amateur video bloggers, and advertisers. Those are the customer segments for them. Okay, and the early adopters were teenagers, college students, those that are passionate about video, and filmmakers. Which problem they were trying to solve? There were no hosting video as a service by that time. And the existing alternatives were at that point Vimeo, Google Video, and Share Your World. Okay. How it was the solution for them? Create a website devoted to these amateur videos. So just collecting the videos in a platform online. And how they were going to make money? Investment at the beginning, they were not earning money, they were relying on investment, and they were relying on advertising revenue. So they were putting ads on the videos, okay, like traditional TV channels. Then, if you go for the unique value proposition, that sentence was the people's TV service. Watch and share video content on a single platform and a star-based rating system. This was a unique value proposition, so the content was rated for the first time. You were able to know what is important for you based on the rating of other people, right? And the people was creating the content, was not the TV, was not broadcasting service where the big players were delivering the content. You were able to create your own TV channel, what was impressive, right? And the high-level concept, the next Flickr of video. Flickr was there already, and they were using, okay, I'm going to be similar to Flickr, so they can understand what I am doing if I just say I am the next Flickr of video. The channels they were using to reach the customers was friends of the founders, easy, tech magazines, emailing and using some contests for that, and referrals. Okay, making it easy from the page to share the video with others. Okay. Then we can go for the key metrics. For them, they were DAU, daily active users, how many people was accessing the service every single day, the number of views per video, and the stickiness. So how engaged the first users were. Videos per session, how much time they were watching a single video, etc. The cost structure, really clear. Development team, development payroll, and hosting was the main areas. And then the unfair advantage in this case was that it was hard by that time to recreate video hosting on a large scale. So there were a lot of barriers of entrance for new players. Okay. And the other one was that the users of the video hosting pushed other users to join the network. They were using the network effect. They were relying on the network effect as Facebook to gain traction. These viral loops. Okay. This is just one example. And now we can work together in the rooms. So I will open the rooms again, and we will have 20 minutes to work on that, just because we don't have so much time left. Okay, so let's go with that. I will open the rooms. Okay, ready. Hi guys.
Hi.
Already finished?
Yeah. We have decided if anyone go with the idea, we need to split because we like it.
Yeah. So you are room 4, right?
Yes.
And okay, it's everything is filled here. Great. Okay, I'm going to close the rooms now. I'm going to give just 1 minute until they come back. Which is the toughest block, the toughest bucket? Which has been?
For me, was the revenue part.
The revenue was the most difficult for you to fill?
At least for me, I don't know if my colleagues had the same
Why?
feel. Why? Because I wasn't sure if people were planning to buy a subscription for 1 year or something like that for this product.
Okay. Which is the alternative? At the end, the thing here is which are the alternatives for you to make a revenue? You have people paying for it, or you have people not paying for it and then having ads and being the product themselves. Or having one shot, as in Microsoft Windows or this kind of permanent licenses, right? You don't have much more options for a software right now in this SaaS world. Hi everyone, we were discussing about the revenue streams. Okay, so we were discussing about the most difficult bucket for you. If you can type in the chat which has been the most difficult bucket to fill together, it would be interesting to know where are you struggling, and how we can solve it. I have seen really great work in all the teams. Actually, mostly all of you have filled the whole link canvas in 20-25 minutes, not a lot. So again, put your questions here. Unique value proposition and the unfair advantage. I think the unfair advantage is really difficult, and you only understand which is your unfair advantage once you are in the market working in the company. So I didn't know which was my unfair advantage here in Leader until I kept working, and I understood after communicating a lot, I understood that the community is the unfair advantage. So I have been working a lot and putting a lot of efforts and resources in order to grow that, because I know that this will be a barrier for others. Others can be doing training, but they don't have the sense of community. They don't have this place where people can help each other. So we are not a training company anymore. We are a community. We are an ecosystem, for example. And I didn't realize it until until recently. So it's difficult. The unfair advantage, you need to really look inside yourself. The other unfair advantage for me was the network. As a CTO, I had the network, and others that are trying to build training specifically for tech leads didn't have the network. So you need to understand these as unfair advantages, and it's difficult to find out when you have really met 1 hour ago, right, into the team, and you are creating a product since 1 hour ago. So I can understand. Okay, some of the high-level concepts. Okay, I will read some of them. Your notes blockchained. TikTok for note taking. Your work assistant, Alexa for work. Alexa for notes. We are the knowledge Netflix. Netflix for knowledge. Notion for product managers. Evernote for journalists. And I have one missing in the team number 8. So if you want to come up with the high-level concepts right now, you can write it in the chat. But interesting ideas, right? Like TikTok for note taking. Netflix for knowledge. These kind of things is what is driving the attention of the especially from the stakeholders and investors. And this is talking a lot about what you are doing, and you can see that in just 1 hour you are diverging so much because you have chosen a different problem that is based on a different person. A content creator that is focused on video, a journalist, teachers and students, how they can collaborate together through notes for the exercises in this post-COVID era of learning, online learning. So you are tackling different problems that are related to a real world. So a note-taking app, especially tailored for students to share knowledge, not only between them, but also with the teachers in this post-COVID era, where the big players in the online learning space, maybe they are still getting up to the pace. It can be a valuable solution, and it can be monetized really quick. So I have seen really interesting ideas here. The buyer persona was really well defined, and then that's why you are able to define a business model in less than 20 minutes. When you don't know each other, I repeat, you don't know each other, and you are able to come up with a business idea that can really work in the market. I believe that some of them can work in the market, because I have been going through the different groups, and I have seen things that make sense. So solutions that are related to a problem and are really tackling that problem, and I can relate that problem with the customer that you are trying to face. If it's a content creator, then the problem is that note-taking apps are not focused on multimedia content. And then the solution is to make it more visual, or to tackle the context and organizing this multimedia content and tagging it automatically, as Google Photos is doing, for example. So I see ideas that make sense, which is the important part. Okay, let's go with the last topic, which is, okay, I have my business, I understand how my product is going to solve a problem for my customer. I'm going to try to understand how the customer is going to experience my product, experience my company. So what you are going to define is the different touch points that the user have with your product and your company, from the awareness stage, where they don't know anything about you, they just know that they have a problem, then considering your product as their top 3 options to try, then going to purchase, and in the case there is a trial before trying the product, so just trying it, then if they are convinced, so they purchase it, then retention and advocacy. So they are not only paying over time, so you have a larger and bigger lifetime value, the customer is with you more time, but it's also that they are advocates of the product. They fell in love with it, so they are recommending to others. So they are bringing customers for free, €0 spent in marketing. Okay, so what we are going to define is those touch points that are important, and we are going to put it in a vertical axis, how positive the experience is for them. So, for example, in awareness, product awareness, it's about maybe someone telling about your product to others. For example, in the teacher-student topic, maybe the teacher is telling the students to use it. In the content creator, for example, maybe you are in a Slack community for content creators, and one person there is just telling you, hey, have you tried this app? I am trying right now and it seems really appealing. Or in another note-taking app, someone is sharing a note with you because you want it to be reviewed, and then in the screen you see the note, you see the content, and you see powered by and the product. You have many ways to have product awareness, right? Or you can just put an ad in Google. The simple way, you put an ad in Google, in YouTube, in LinkedIn, and then the user clicks and appears in your landing page. Is another way of having product awareness. Okay, so define how it's going to be these different steps, these different touch points, how they have known you, how they have got the interest in order to consider your product to be in their top 3 of decisions. If it's visiting your website, if it's going for the pricing, is checking the pricing, is checking the testimonials. When they are trying it, the trial, how is the experience? Do you have an onboarding? Are you explaining the customer the 3 main features that you have defined, so they understand that you are going to solve the products that this exact persona has? Or you are going to leave them to do whatever from the beginning? Are you going to have a gamification process? Are you going to provide tips? Are you going to send newsletter for the first few days so they have tips about how to use it? Are you going to provide templates for the most important ways of using the app? For example, a note about 101s, or a note about a photo album. Are you going to have that? And then how you are going to retain? If the customer is coming back, which other touch points you have that are not just taking notes? Are they going to the profile? Are they sharing with others? Right? So this is the example, and then in the Jamboard you have here the customer journey map. Really simple. You are going to see just the stages: awareness, consideration, trial, purchase, retention, advocacy, and you put the note, right? For example, website visit. You put the note higher or lower depending on how positive the experience is. Okay, that's it. Let's do it. We will have 5 to 7 minutes right now. The time will really work. So when the time is up, I will close the room, okay? And we come back for the final wrap up. Is everything clear? Do you have any question? Okay, let's go. Welcome back. Time's up.
Yes.
I have seen great work. I have seen a lot of different touch points already in the different boards. So if you have any questions, again, please write your questions in the chat, because we need to wrap up. I hope the workshop was insightful about how it is to think about the customer first, how it is to develop a business from scratch when you have nothing, how it is about coming from one idea to the execution, and how it is to interact with people that you don't know, to have agreement and to work as a team, because the difference between a group of people as a team is when you have a common goal. And you have had 3 common goals: defining your customer, creating your business, and defining the customer experience with your business, with your product. And it has worked really well. I have seen really great insights and great ideas. So thank you so much for your implication with this exercise. I'm going to move on for the final part, which is the wrap up and the next step. So if you give me 10 more minutes, we will close the session. Okay. So the wrap up, really quick. Identify and understand your customer is the first step you need in order to build a business that is sustainable. Then focus on the problem. Don't get in love. Don't fall in love with the solution. Fall in love with the problem you want to solve, because the solution will appear over time after many iterations. Okay. Design the link canvas around your customer and his or her problem. That's the first step, and you will use that link canvas as the reference to understand your business, to have the big overview of your business, to be able to explain it to everyone, to use the highlight, the unique value proposition, to explain it to your mother with just one sentence, and to gather attention and interest from stakeholders and also from your customers. Okay. Then map the customer journey from the first touch points to advocacy. Don't focus on one stage. Try to define the whole process, how is going to be the experience of the person, and try to live it. Try to put someone there that you know well to try out the whole process, and they can tell you how they feel. This is the best way to put the post-its in the right point of the experience. If someone real, it's trying it, and you are able to interview him or her, right? And it's only then when you prototype your solution and put it in the hands of your customers, and then you repeat. That's the cycle, right? And I'm sorry, but prototype is not coding. Sorry, developers, prototype is not about coding. You have now plenty of no-code tools out there, so you can build awesome products in a matter of minutes or hours without touching a single line of code. No-code tools, also low-code tools that are giving you much more power if you are able to code. So this is the next big thing in tech, because now you can do much more with much less. Okay, so I think if you have into this area and you check some of the tools that are now shown in the screen, you are going to discover that most of the things that you are now coding in your own teams are now delivered from companies, and you just need to sign up and start working on that, right? Everything from the public website with Webflow to the sign up, the onboarding with the first experience, holding a database, the payment, everything you can do it without coding a single line of code. So that's great, and it's important. And then if you want more of these seeds of entrepreneurship, of building products and acquiring business vision, which is that #1 skill, a great way to prototype and continue with these steps that we are preparing. The first thing about prototyping is that you can prepare a press release and just show it to the customer to understand how they react to that press release. This is the way AWS does, and you can learn it with your team in 2 weeks, the 21st of April, because we are going to have another workshop with AWS in exclusive. They are only doing for the best corporate customers in Europe, and they are going to do it for our leader community, for startups for the first time in history. So if you want to continue this process and you want to get the point where you prototype and put your idea in the hands of your customers, you can join this event with your team in your current company, so you can deliver that press release to launch your next product or your next big feature of the product. So you are going to get a real artifact out of the workshop, or you can join, and if some of you are here, you can just try to prototype the idea that you have been working with in this session, okay? But this is once in a lifetime opportunity. I don't want you to miss it. It's going to be great. It's on working hours, but if you can make it, it's going to be really important, because at the same time they are going to give away more than 800 euros in rewards for the most innovative product. In mentoring from the advocates for the startup program, leader is going to contribute with mentoring as well for the most innovative team. So if you are launching something in your company, or you are planning to launch something, this is definitely interesting for you, and you have to come with your team, with people from product, from marketing, from sales. So all together in a multidisciplinary team, you work on that. Okay, so take note of that. I think Lilith has already shared the link, because it's going to be really, really interesting. And if you still want more and you want to discover how to build a startup in a session with me, along many other things like self-leadership, productivity, focus, all the other things that we are teaching in Ignite program, we have opened a new edition that will happen starting on May. You have here some of the people, so instead of saying a lot, I will let them to give a few words. Right now you have had them in the different teams, guiding, facilitating, or just working with you and learning as you are learning. So if you guys want to speak up and say a bit about your experience in the program, would be awesome.
In my experience, is a different course. I've been in another course doing this kind of, or learning this kind of theory, but not doing it, not applying it. And for me, the learn by doing is something differential, and it's create, for example, a real project, a real app is something that very useful in your day. Yeah, that's it.
Great, thank you, Isaac. If someone else want to speak up, otherwise.
I would also say that it's not just about the content, but also about the community that it builds, and the team that it builds forms very nice and useful relations.
You are now family now. You are spending, actually, I think you are spending more time with this new family than with your real family. At least I'm spending more time with you guys in the chat than I am spending with my girlfriend. So, yeah. Anything else? You can just type it in the chat if you want to add something. Diego. I don't know if Christian is already is still here. I think he left. Whatever. Last thing, if you want to join, it's great, but what I'm going to do is that if you join, that you have attended, I will extend this session with the Lean Startup Shot of 90 minutes that these guys enjoyed the last week in the fourth session of Ignite. So I'm going to give away totally for free if you apply for the program, for the free mentoring interview with me, right? And if you are one of the first ones, actually we are going to do it only for 5 people, we are going to give away a 20% discount as well. So that's the other thing I wanted to share with you. And finally, the reward for the most innovative project that we have been creating today. It's going to be a 1 hour free mentoring with me for the whole team, where we can discuss any kind of topic you want about lean startup, about creating business, or any other topic you may think of. Okay, so we are going to disclose the most innovative project tomorrow. What we are going to do is to vote the best idea based on the lean canvas. Okay, so I will share the Jamboard with all the participants in the event. You will need to vote, and I will have another vote as well. And then for tomorrow, at the end of the day, we will close the voting, and the one that is getting more votes, it will be the one that is winning the free session with me for all the team. Okay, if you want to share the link for the voting with the outside and you want to convince others and use this advocacy stage of the customer journey, you can do it. Okay, but it will be based on your own votes. Okay, so take some time to read the different link canvas and think how innovative and how applicable can be that idea, and then this one will be the winner of this 3 hour mentoring with me. So nothing else, it's time to vote. And before leaving, it's time to vote this session with the ROTI, return on time invested. So if you have not done it yet, you can do it before ending the session, so we can keep improving and understanding what it takes to have a 5 out of 5, and we are delivering on our promise of high value workshops. Okay, so final words. Thank you very much. It has been a nice time. I have seen really great commitment and great ideas coming up in just a matter of a couple of hours. Thank you so much for attending, and see you on the 21st of April with the Amazon event. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Álvaro.
Thank you. Bye, Álvaro.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Goodbye.
Don't create bots.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye, Tamara.
Bye. Bye.